How's it going, guys? I'm here to kickstart the hell out of your week with probably one of the best standard matches I've had in a long fucking time. This is against a guy by the name of Avizion, and if you're looking at the video length, you are in for quite a treat because I rarely ever upload games this long, and it's gonna be fantastic. So grab a meal, grab 2 meals, grab 3 meals, whatever the fuck you want to do. That'll fill some time for 15 minutes, and let's have at it. So fun fact is I had a game against him that I was kind of mad to upload, and I was hanging on to it for a while. But then he gave me this one, and I'm like, I'm going to save it for a special occasion. And I was like, Mondays normally suck. It's a Monday. Let's upload it. So right off the bat, I make my first huge fucking mistake, lose my Scarfer. I was like, okay, maybe he's leading with Terrakion just because, you know, he knows nothing on my team is really going to want to take a choice banded close combat, and maybe he'll get the fucking drop on something. And I was like, I'm going to stay and go for the Earthquake because I'm Scarf. But I'm Scarf Adamant, so that doesn't tell me anything in terms of what nature he has. Close combat would have taken me out anyway. Scarf Adamant Crook is slower than both Scarf Adamant Terrakion and Scarf Jolly Terrakion. So that nature thing that I'm still a little bit blind about is going to come into play later. But I do know that I have a physically defensive Shaman, which I'm going to use. And let me tell you, I am a really big fan of this poke. Just physically defensive Shaman in general. I got to be making a couple more. But this one I've been using, you know, the sub-seeding set. I don't know why I haven't been using it more often. It's awesome. It does really good. But as he goes into his Espeon predicting the Leech Seed. If it bounces back on me, it's just a wasted turn and nothing else is going on with it. But I'm behind a sub, so I can just go for a Leech Seed again. What I don't know at that point is that Espeon has no attacks. It's dual screen with Wish Protect, so it couldn't do anything to me. My stable ground right now in the game is going to remain pretty stable, especially since he brings in Skarmory. The best it can do is Whirlwind me out, and even if he tries to use me as setup fodder, A, I have HP Fire, and then B, I have Tentacle to spin away any hazards that he might set up. So I'm still looking pretty good at this point in the game. Not that things are particularly bad, they're kind of at a stalemate, but he's going to go ahead and Whirlwind to speed up the process a little bit, and he actually brings me into said spinner. I don't really want to set up the Toxic Spikes right now as long as Espeon is around, and then, you know, it bounces him back onto my side of the field. But at the very least, by him Whirlwinding, he kept the Leech Seed on. So that's kind of cool. He's going to go into it right now to try to bounce him back. I believe I just go for a Scald just to try to burn said Skarmory. And for the amount of Scalds I go for in this game, I don't really get a whole hell of a lot of burns. I think I only get 1 burn off of Scald tops. But I'm going to go into my Heatran. This is my specially defensive Heatran. So I've brought a little bit bulkier, slower things to this game. I don't really mind too much though, but he's going to go for the Protect just to see what kind of Heatran I am. And I believe I'm just a special defensive one with Lava Plume, as I mentioned. And it's got Stealth Rocks too, so I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to be able to do this. And I end up going for it now. Don't think it's really going to end up mattering too much, especially because light screen and whatnot. But I do get the burn, which is kind of nice. Now, if he wants to stay in and go for his attacks, I'm going to go ahead and Protect, stall that out a little bit. It looks like this might be his spinner if he were to have one. But since he goes for the Hydro Pump with Life Orb, you tend to run Hydro Pump on offensive sets anyways. So it's kind of weird to be running Rapid Spin. Anyways, do you fucking see that? Oh, he freezes my Heatran. Oh, fuck. Why does this shit always happen to me? This thing is made of fire. It's with the Flash Fire and the zip-zop, zoobity-bop. But I'm at full HP, so that's kind of cool. And the fact that I'm specially defensive does come into play because it means that I'm actually going to be able to live this Hydro Pump. I'm just trying to thaw. That's it. I don't want this Heatran to be completely useless. But to be honest, when else are you going to see a frozen Heatran? Like, this kind of shit would only happen to me. But I thaw out, thankfully, just in the nick of time. And I'm going to go ahead and go for Protect just to stall out for some more burn damage and some screens turns. And it turns out he's just trying to predict switches because he thinks he can kill me from that range. And on that turn, he would have been right that he would have been able to kill me off from that range. But I did thaw. And he's going for T-Bolt just to switch up moves, mainly just because he doesn't want Hydro Pump to miss. Ice Beam's probably not going to be the best thing he can do. And I get up the Stealth Rocks right as the motherfucker dies. If he did have Rapid Spin, he just lost his spinner. And he does have a Magic Bouncer, but it didn't come in time. And now that thing's dead. So my rocks on my side on his side of the field are there to stay. And that's pretty awesome because he brings in a Salamence right now. This thing is more than likely going to end up being the Choice Scarf Moxie variant. Since it's got Dragon Claw, and we are going to see Moxie after this. What I don't know is it's running Dragon Claw and Outrage. We do see Outrage a little bit later in the game, but I don't think it comes too huge into play. But he's going to go ahead and get a free kill, just try to get some boosts up, that kind of thing. I know being at full HP, Lucario can take a +1 Dragon Claw, not exactly great, but the resistance is going to let me take it, and he does realize that, so he's going to go ahead and switch out into his Skarmory. I was kind of hoping he would try to take the chance to do that, just because I do have Ice Punch on this guy, and might as well fucking go for it. And it was at this point in the game where I was like, you know what? If you did that to me, I'm pretty fucking sure I can do that right back to you. So I keep going for Ice Punch, just for no real reason. I know a close combat from that range probably wouldn't have even taken it out anyway. And he's just going to end up going for the Roost. That's just special defense, or defense drops in general, that I don't really need too much. And I'm kind of banking on him ending up whirlwinding me out anyways. So if that's going to happen, it'll happen eventually. But after it doesn't happen, I was just, I don't know what happened at that point in the game. I was like, I'm just going to switch out. And maybe he'll start trying to set up hazards and shit right here. I got Scald on this guy, so I might as well try to get a burn and that kind of thing. And Brave Bird does a lot. Like, I was honestly kind of surprised at that. I didn't think Tentacruel, I don't know, I got max HP on this guy, so I should be good to go to take it, but that still did a little more than I thought. And then someone brought up in the chat, it's a fucking Brave Bird, and I was like, yeah, you're right. That is totally right. But I'm going to go for Scald just to try to burn it, just to try to buffer said Brave Bird going on. He goes into his Espeon. Now, this is dual screener, and the fact that I get it burned right now really helps me out a lot. And I probably should speed this up a little bit more, but it lets me talk about things in the game that are going up. But I'm just going to protect to stall out some more burn turns. And I believe it's here that we see all of his moves. We saw Reflect, we saw Light Screen, we saw Protect. Just based on the Protect, we could have assumed that it was Wish, but that just basically clinches what it is. And he's going to go for another Protect just to get it right off the bat. Now, right here, I went for the Toxic Spikes for some stupid reason. Now, if I were to fuck up at any point in the game, you know, crucially, this would probably not be a big one just because I have Rapid Spin on this guy. I believe 2 of my pokes at this point in the game are not affected by it. Shaman does have Natural Cure. So it's not really that big a deal that I did it. You also could have argued that he would have tried to Wish Pass it, and I would have tried to predict that. But I'm going to tell you guys straight up right now, I just blanked out. I was like, he can't fucking do anything to me. I might as well start setting up. And then that was just really stupid. But as you can see, the burn is really helping me out in the sense that he has to keep staying in here wishing and protecting. And a Rapid Spin turn, if I can get one, will be at this point in the game while he's just trying to heal up to a comfortable range. So that little mistake right there, not really going to end up being game-changing in the slightest. If anything, as you can see, I've healed off most of the Brave Bird damage as he's setting up his screen, and he doesn't really end up getting a whole lot of use out of the screens, to be completely honest. I wasn't really that bothered by all the things that he was doing. I believe he switches out right here, and he goes into his Latios, which is... No, not his Latios. He goes into his Ments. Now, I have Protect on this guy too, so just because he's Choice Scarfed, I can see what he's going to go ahead and lock himself in on, which I'm going to do after I go for the Scald and hopefully get a burn. I do get a crit through the screen, but I don't get a burn, which is kind of whatever. So just going for the Protect, see what he's going to do. I don't really want to take an Outrage with this guy, but I think he switches out here anyways, and maybe I guess I stayed in expecting to take it, which is kind of silly, but I go for another Scald just to try to get another burn, and the fact that the Rock Sharp is really going to hurt how many times he can switch that thing in. If I'm right, he can maybe switch it in one more time, and it has to be safe, because if he takes a hit from that range, it'll more than likely die. But he goes into Espeon, takes a little bit of burn damage, a little bit of Rocks damage, and I believe some Scald damage, and it's to the point where he needs to get a safe switch with that too, otherwise that thing is going to die as well. But Latios is at full HP, just trying to get a burn on whatever things I can. Latios or Ments would have helped, but as you can see, the only burns I got were Lava Plume with Starmie, and then Scald on Espeon, and I believe those are the only burns I'm going to get for the rest of the game. But he goes for a Psychic, and that does a lot. I thought he was Choice Specs at this point, but he does a really good job of bluffing the Expert Belt, because I believe he's going to switch out after this next turn. This one or the next one? I don't remember. But he goes for Psychic, takes me out. I'm not really in the mood to just try to salvage this thing. There's not really much of a way I'm going to be able to because I don't have any Wish Passes or anything like that. So I'm going to go into my Shaman. This guy's got full HP. I can Subseed, that kind of shit. And he decides to switch out right now. I know Latios more often than not does carry the HP Fire. And it was kind of a big thing switching it in there, but I was like, maybe he's choiced, so it's not going to be that big a deal. Maybe this is a third Scarfer, for all I fucking know. But I'm going to set up a sub. I can go ahead and go for Leech Seed on Skarm, that kind of thing, and I probably should speed this up, so I think I'm going to do that right now. Yeah, truthfully, this part of the game really isn't that crucial for you guys to really just watch, I guess. I probably could have skipped out the whole thing and just told you I was like sub-stalling with Leech Seed and shit like that, but there's a lot of after turn effects going on. and that's probably why this game turned out being so long. But I'm going for sub, and then Brave Bird, and then Leech Seed and shit. You know, his HP is going down very passively. I'm just trying to get it to the point where I can take it out with an HP Fire while maintaining a decent level of HP. Get a free sub there, which is cool, but unless HP Fire kills it off in one hit, he'll just whirlwind me out anyways. And I think that's what ends up happening right now. If there's a plus to all this, I'm at like 80% HP after this exchange. It was kind of a pointless exchange, but I think I might have gotten off a little better. I don't remember what I started out with, truthfully, even though it was like 20 seconds ago, but kind of same ballpark, so that's okay. And on top of that, he has Leech Seed. So that's going to get back a little bit of the HP that I lost from Life Orb recoil from previously trying to attack this Skarmory, and that puts it at the point where a close combat is kind of iffy as to whether or not he can survive it, just because I have Life Orb as well. So he's going to switch out into his Espeon, you know, trying to use it as death fodder. I've recognized that as a really good opportunity just because he could have roosted. I really doubt that he was going to attack me right there. But the Espeon dies to the burn damage from earlier, so it did end up being death fodder, but I was able to get something out of it. And Mence is just going to come in next. I guess he was probably just using this to scat out what priority move I had. I very easily could have gone for another Sword Stance, but in the end it would have been completely pointless just because although I do end up killing it off, he recognizes that my priority is Extreme Speed instead of Bullet Punch. People tend to run Bullet Punch just for this big-ass threat right here. And because I don't have it, he's going to go ahead and take me out. I don't know why I didn't go for Extreme Speed right here. I figured it would just be pointless damage anyway. But then again, pointless damage is better than no damage because although it was just +2 and it was resisted, it could have helped in the end game. You never know. You never know. But I go into Shaman right now just because I see that he's locked in on close combat, and I can definitely take a few of those just because of my defensive investment. And he's going to go out into his Skarmory right now. I believe I go for a Leech Seed just to get some HP back. You know, got the lefties and a Leech Seed and whatnot. Going for a sub and then an HP Fire probably would have been the most beneficial just because I would have been able to handle Latios, which I completely forgot was on his team and still alive until after I killed this thing off. But, you know, splitting hairs kind of thing. There's not really much I could have done to Latios other than Leech Seed it anyway, and I do actually get away with that, but we'll see that as we see that. So for now, do take out Skarmory and Latios. I believe he's got Latios and Terrakion, and I've got Shaman and Staraptor, and it's gonna get sticky. That's all I can tell you. But a little bit of rocks damage going on. I'm still pretty convinced that he was Specs at this point, and I was like, a Specs Draco probably would have done more than a Specs HP Fire, since you really tend to only have HP Fire for stuff that's quite weak to it, like Ferrothorn, Scizor, Fortress, things in that vein. But I'm going to go for the Leech Seed, and it turns out I actually take it pretty well. And what happens at this point? Just getting some lefties and shit like that. That's what Shaman does this entire game. It's really handy. But he goes for a Draco now. Thinking that this will do more, and I think it might do more if he had Life Orb or things like that, but it's not super effective damage. It doesn't end up doing as much, and I actually live it with a pretty reasonable chunk, and I'm able to get off a Seed Flare. Now, because of the fact that he lowered his spec attack, this actually comes into play next turn, because with my lefties and the HP that I'm actually stealing from him, it means I'm going to be able to take an HP Fire just because he's at -2. I didn't think I was going to be able to, and truthfully, if I didn't, I probably would have been completely fucked at this point in the game. There wouldn't be any more tension after this as to whether or not I'd be able to get out of this alive or not. But as you can see, the game progresses just a little bit longer, and I'm able to go for a Seed Flare, which will bring him to the point where Leech Seed and Seed Flare and Leech Seed just finishes him off, is what I'm trying to say. Now this is cool because Terrakion has to choose a move to lock itself in on. If he picks Stone Edge, there are odds that he could miss. It would probably be the most beneficial, but if he missed on either one of these, it would cost him the game because I could take him out with the Seed Flare with this, or I could take him out with a Close Combat on the next thing. So he decides he's going to go for the 100% accurate move, which is Close Combat. It definitely is overkill at that point. Now, this is where it gets interesting. He has no hazards. I'm at full HP with Staraptor, and I'm going to cut to a damage calculator right now. Now, I ran a damage calc on this just because that's the question on everybody's mind. What is it going to come down to? Well, Adamant is the maximum amount of power he can have in this realm of possibility. I don't know what he is, but if he is Adamant, he does have a pretty big chance of KOing. Like, literally, it is going to be the game doing a coin toss if he's Adamant. But if he's Jolly, I'm going to go ahead and click Calculate on this as well, and there is absolutely no way he can kill me off in one shot, you know, barring crits on both of these. But if he does not kill me off, thanks to the defense drop he had previously on the Shaman and the defense drop that he's going to get on me now, I will kill him off in the close combat. Let me tell you, we're going to call up NBZ, have ourselves a nice tall glass of chocolate milk with the side of smidgens, because that is what happens. I live it. And that is going to be the game. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It really was down to the wire. It was one of those games where you just have sweaty palms holding the stats. You got to make sure everything goes right. And it came down to potentially a damage calc, because I don't know what nature he was. But that's the game. I really hope you guys enjoyed this match. If you did, you are definitely welcome to leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. And that should do it out of me. This is, I believe, my last day of work until Saturday. We're kind of short on hours, so I got like 4 days off in a row, which means more videos for you guys. I'll see if I can get some good stuff, you know, in your sub boxes for you this week. Treat you nice. Anyways, that's going to do it out of me, because this video is going to take a long-ass time to render. And I will see you guys later.